there ever been a time when all you wanted was a small treat, but in result got sucked into a sticky situation? In the book The Gates by John Connolly, all Samuel wanted was a head start on trick-or-treating, and boy was he in for a treat. The initial situation of the story starts off with the author introducing the Big Bang Theory and the formation of the universe. The trigger incident is when the main character, 11-year-old Samuel Jackson, and his dog, Boswell, decide to pay a visit to their neighbor, Mrs. Abernathy, when trick-or-treating 3 days before Halloween. The first rise in action of the story begins with Samuel and his dog witnessing the missing particle of energy from the Large Hadron Collider opening up a portal to hell, and Mrs. Abernathy's body getting taken over by a demon. The second rise in action of the story is when Samuel, along with his dog and two best friends, Tom Hobbs and Maria Mayer, all decide to visit 666 Crowley Road to see what is going on in Mrs. Abernathy's house. The moment the four step into the house, they instantly get a feeling of uneasiness, foreshadowing the events that are to come. The last rise in action of the story, leading to the climax, is when the demon from the underworld get released from the portal, under the command of Satan himself. They begin to take over Biddlecombe by destroying the city and harming the citizens. The climax of the story is when the demons, including Belial, the demon who took over Mrs. Abernathy's body, known as Satan's trusted lieutenant, all get sucked back into the portal. The portal then collapses and disappears entirely. Finally, the conclusion of the story happens around Christmas time when Mrs. Abernathy appears in Samuel's bathroom mirror and on the steam of the glass writes out the words, "This is not over." A character trait best used to describe Samuel would be that he is friendly. In the story, Mrs. Abernathy sends a demon to Samuel's room to frighten him. However, it being the first time assigned this task, the demon is unable to perform psychic vibrations in order to find out what Samuel is scared of. As a result, to make it easier on the demon who potentially wants to harm him, Samuel converses with him and hints that he is scared of spiders. Secondly, Samuel shows he is friendly when he offers jelly beans to Nerd, a demon who is banished from hell, when he gets transported into Samuel's room. Furthermore, although he is unsure of Nerd's character at first, being a demon and all, he soon discovers that Nerd is nice and misunderstood, and a new friendship forms. Finally, when he spots Nerd, who looks fearful, hiding from all the other demons behind a hedge in his front yard, he decides to invite him into the house so he can hide there with Samuel and his friends. It takes place on October 28th to the 31st. This is significant because Halloween is known as the time of year when unusual events take place and demons come out to scare people. It ties in with the story because it is about a demon trying to take over Earth. The story takes place in the 21st century. In the story, the author mentions the Large Hadron Collider, which is the world's largest and most powerful particle collider built by the European Organization for Nuclear Research from 1998 to 2008. The story takes place in a fictional town of Biddlecombe based in England. This is significant to the story because it is described to be a dull and old town where nothing happens, yet within just a span of 4 days, many events unfold. A minor place where this story takes place would be Geneva, Switzerland. Although not mentioned in the story that much, this is where the collider is located, and without the collider, the gates and portals to hell would cease to exist. The tone of the story the author conveys is one of humor with parts of sorrow and eeriness. There are footnotes at the end of the pages that are like mini narrations, and they explain concepts, ideas that show up within the text. Samuel's character contributes to the light-hearted tone of the book. To me, most would be that of overcoming one's inner fears and realizing one's potential from within. This is prominent throughout the story because Samuel had to overcome the inner fear of not being able to defeat Mrs. Abernathy, as well as the fear of never seeing his dad again after he left Samuel and his mom. He realized his inner potential when he beat Mrs. Abernathy with the help of his peers. The poem I found that related to my story the most was Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. The poem relates to the theme of overcoming inner fears and realizing inner potential within because it is about a woman constantly getting put down because of her race. However, despite all the crude things people have to say about her or have done to her, she rises above all that, discovering her inner potential. Throughout the story, Samuel is first put down by his mom because she did not believe him when he told her about demon Mrs. Abernathy, his dad who left the family, and most importantly, demon Mrs. Abernathy who was out to kill him. He struggles along the way with many inner conflicts, like him being the reason why his dad left, and physical conflicts, namely trying to stop Mrs. Abernathy from taking over the world. Nonetheless, he pushes through because he knows that if he does not stop Mrs. Abernathy, his loved ones will be hurt, so he rises above all the evil and does not back down. I rate this book an 8.5 out of 10 because it is a fun and interesting read. Samuel's character is very quirky and eccentric, which adds to the engaging plot. In conclusion, The Gates by John Connolly is one of contrast
Created using Powtoon.